this is your 59th wedding anniversary.
59.
And you were married in the Salt Lake Temple.
About 9:30 in the morning.
And who performed the ceremony?
Spencer W. King.
Spencer W. Kimball.
Was that by chance or because you knew him from Mexico?
Right. I knew him, and in those days, you didn't get excommunicated for asking a general authority to do that, so I had just written him a letter and asked if he would do it.
He drove him around for a month in the country, so I got to know him, quite well that way.
Yeah.
He had also done
I had been in his presence first.
He had also installed Grandpa Howard as the state president twice.
Yeah, to Salt Lake?
No.
He didn't?
Nobody met me at the train
okay.
in Salt Lake.
When you, how did you contact him to ask him if he would perform the ceremony?
Wrote him a letter.
Okay.
And he answered immediately.
By letter?
Mm-hmm.
Did you go to Salt Lake from Colorado just prior to getting married, or were you in Utah?
I had graduated from Utah State a week before the wedding day. But I drove home to help Dad take the cattle to the Brazos to the Mountain Summer Range. Was home about 5 days and drove back to Provo, and I don't even remember where I stayed.
For my graduation.
But the night before our wedding, she got her Bachelor of Arts degree. It was a night commencement ceremony, wasn't it?
No, it was in the afternoon.
It was in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
And so...
Actually, I think it was in the morning.
It was the day or night before we got married.
Mm-hmm.
When you did the drive from Colorado to Utah after helping your dad with the cattle, did anybody go with you?
Nope, I was all alone.
Okay. Did your mom and dad come to Salt Lake for the ceremony?
My mom and dad did not. I never asked why. Well, I know why. Dad was just in the midst of all the farm work, and he didn't have any help.
Did you?
But Dorothea's mother and dad,
And Dale and Eleanor.
and Dale and Eleanor, and Della and what was his name?
Al.
Al Potberg were there. That's all we had. 6 people.
Who were the Potbergs or whatever?
Della's my cousin,
Okay.
and she was married to Al Potberg at the time.
All right. And Nanny, so you were at BYU because you were finishing school and you were going to have your graduation.
Mm-hmm. Went to Steamboat Springs.
So that the day of the wedding, you went to Steamboat Springs.
We left. After we picked up my stuff in Provo, and we went up Provo Canyon and headed east.
So you picked up your stuff as if you're moving everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
All her earthly belongings we had in the back seat and trunk of our car. The little black Ford.
And the plan was, were you going to honeymoon along the way, or and then did you actually go and stop someplace for an extended period?
Springs, and then the next day we
Drove on into Denver.
we stayed in Fort Collins.
Did we?
Then I dropped by, we went to Boulder, and I picked my stuff that I had left where I was staying, thinking that I would return to Boulder after the mission. I don't remember what it was, a few trinkets. Then I think we drove home, didn't we?
That was, well,
No, we
Spent a day.
stayed in another hotel down on Santa Fe Drive. South Santa Fe Drive.
Okay, so it sounds like about at least a 3-day trip from Utah back to Colorado,
That's what-
ultimately ending up down in Lahara?
Yep.
And did you have a reception down there?
We had a reception in the Romeo Church House.
The Romeo Church House.
Well, I mean, you both came from
That
Yeah.
area.
that area, plus you know, very,
We were one of the first ones to have a reception. At that time, almost the brides would have a shower, and that was it. They didn't have anything else. But I wanted a reception, and so we had a reception in the evening, and it was pretty tacky.
was there a wedding cake?
Yeah, Dilla made it.
And did you do any decorating, or was it pretty much just the
No,
cultural hall?
Just the cultural, well, we didn't have a
Well,
cultural hall.
It was
This
just an old converted house that they
Actually,
used as a chapel.
It was
Oh.
a very large
Romeo.
home, and it was a good building for our Romeo ward, but it was not a chapel. It was a
No.
building the church had bought and was used as our chapel. And it did have, after they bought it, they remodeled it, and they had classrooms on both sides, and then there was a foyer, and then there was a stage on which the bishopric sat, and but that was the one room. And then, you know, if we had a party, they had to, the chairs were all hooked together, and they'd push the seats up and then pull all the chairs back to the back of the chapel. And then they'd dance and, you know, had to have their parties that way.
That chapel the room would be about the size of this area, including the kitchen.
Was there a pretty decent turnout to the reception?
Yeah.
Yeah. We got a lot of stuff.
The photographs that we have of you guys, I think, were taken at that reception.
Right, there's a one or two.
They weren't. And I didn't want a veil. And now I look at myself, I have a nice white wedding dress and no veil.